In a small town lived a girl named Sarah. She lived in a small village between the mountains. The village was green and lovely, but life was hard. Sarah's family was poor. Her father was a farmer. Her mother sold vegetables. Sarah was only 9 years old, yet she had a big dream. "I want to be a doctor," she said. Her father gave a sad smile. "Sarah, becoming a doctor is very hard. We don't have enough money," he said. But Sarah did not give up. "I will study hard. I will find a way," she said firmly. She remembered a kind doctor. This doctor had helped her brother when he was sick. That moment made Sarah's wish strong. She wanted to help people and ease their pain. Every day Sarah walked to school. She had no shoes, and her bag was old and torn, but she did not care. Sarah loved school and learning. Her teacher was called Ms. Miller. She was very kind and always helpful. Ms. Miller often said, "Sarah, you can do anything if you work hard." In the evening, when the village was quiet, Sarah studied. She read her books under a small lamp that glowed dimly. She knew her dream was far away, but she believed in herself and her skills. Sarah's journey had begun. She wanted to change her life and help others. Every morning Sarah got up very early before the sun rose, yet she was ready to reach her goal. She packed her old books and set off for school. The school was far, and Sarah had to walk an hour. The path was not easy. Sometimes it was muddy, and her feet grew dirty. Sometimes the sun was very hot, and she became tired and thirsty. On the way, Sarah saw cows, goats, and tall trees. She liked the birds singing in the trees and the fresh air she breathed. "One day I will ride to school in a car," Sarah thought with hope. At school, Sarah had no new books or pens. Her notebook was small and almost full, yet she never stopped writing and learning. Ms. Miller gave her extra sheets when she needed more space. "Thank you, Miss Miller," Sarah said with a big smile. Miss Miller always said, "Sarah, you are smart. Keep working hard." After school, Sarah walked back home. She was tired from the long day, but she felt happy because she had learned something new. Even though the way was long and hard, Sarah knew it was worth it. Every step brought her closer to her dream. Ms. Miller was Sarah's teacher. She was kind and smiled often. She loved to teach and to help her students. One day Ms. Miller saw that Sarah stayed after class reading a big book. It had many hard words. "Sarah, why are you reading this book?" Ms. Miller asked, curious. "I want to be a doctor," Sarah said, her eyes shining. "But it is hard. I don't know all the words." Ms. Miller sat beside Sarah and gave an encouraging smile. "Sarah, you are very smart," she said. "I know you can succeed. You only need to keep studying and never quit." Sarah's eyes shone with hope and determination. "Really, Miss Miller? Do you think I can become a doctor?" The answer was more than a simple yes. It was another step on Sarah's big journey. "Yes, Sarah," Ms. Miller said with a friendly smile. "You can be anything you want. Always dream big. And remember, I am here to help you." Sarah's eyes shone with joy and hope. From that day, Ms. Miller gave Sarah extra lessons after school. She explained new words and helped her with math, which Sarah often found hard. "Thank you, Ms. Miller," Sarah said with pride and gratitude. "I will study hard. I will make you proud." Ms. Miller smiled warmly. "I am already proud of you, Sarah," she said. Sarah felt happy and strong. With Ms. Miller's help, Sarah believed even more in her dream of becoming a doctor. Sarah's family lived in a small house. They did not have much money. Her father worked hard in the fields, and his hands were rough and cracked. Her mother baked fresh bread and sold it in town to earn some money. One evening her mother said, "Sarah, we can't buy new school books. We don't have enough money." Sarah felt sad and worried. She needed books to learn and to improve. But she did not want her parents to worry. "I will share books with my friend Amina," Sarah said bravely. "It will be okay, Mom." After school, Sarah helped her mother. She cleaned the house and watched her little brother, who often needed much attention. Sometimes she helped her father carry well water, knowing the hard work was important for the family. Even when she was tired, Sarah always did her homework. In the evenings, she studied long under a small lamp that glowed weakly. One night her father saw her and was impressed by her effort. "Sarah, you work very hard," he said with a proud look. "Yes, Dad," Sarah said with firm faith. "I want to be a doctor. One day I will help people." Her father smiled proudly. "You make us proud, Sarah," he said, and warmth filled her heart. She knew her family struggled, but she was determined to reach her dream. She promised herself, "I will not give up. I will work hard for my dreams, no matter how hard it gets." One day Sarah sat in front of the school. She looked into her notebook, which was old and worn. Some pages were torn, and the corners were ragged. She felt sad and frustrated, thinking other students had new books. Ms. Miller walked by and saw her sad face. "Sarah, why are you so sad?" she asked with concern in her voice. "I have no new books or notebooks," Sarah said softly. "It is hard to study, but I do my best." Ms. Miller smiled with understanding. "Sarah, you are a smart girl." "Don't worry, I will help you." The next day, Ms. Miller brought a big bag to school. She handed it to Sarah with a bright smile. In the bag were new books, colorful pens, and a fresh notebook. Sarah could hardly believe it. Her eyes grew wide with joy, and a big grin spread across her face. "That is so kind of you, Ms. Miller," she exclaimed. She felt supported and motivated. Now she knew that with hard work and help, she could reach her goals. "These are for you, Sarah," Ms. Miller said, giving her the bag with a warm smile. "You must keep working hard, and I believe in you." Sarah's eyes filled with tears of joy and thanks. "Thank you, Ms. Miller. I will do my best," she said firmly. From that day, Sarah studied even harder. She promised herself, "I will make Ms. Miller proud." Ms. Miller believed in Sarah. She always said, "Sarah, you can be anything. Never give up." One noon, Sarah sat under a tree in the schoolyard. She ate her small lunch, a piece of bread and some water. It was not much, but it was enough for her. A girl walked over to her. Her name was Amina, and she was new in class. "Hi, I am Amina. May I sit with you?" she asked kindly. Sarah smiled and felt better at once. "Yes, of course," she said. They began to talk. Amina said, "My dad got a new job here, so we moved to this town. I feel a little nervous." Sarah liked Amina very much. Amina was kind and funny. They laughed and shared stories about school and dreams. Amina saw Sarah's old books and held them in her hands. "Your books are very old," she said with a small frown. "Yes," Sarah said. "We do not have much money for new books, but I love learning." The next day, Amina came to school with a surprise. She handed Sarah a small bag. "What is this?" Sarah asked, curious and excited. Open it, Amina said with a big smile on her face. Inside were pens, an eraser, and colorful markers. They are for you, Amina said happily. Now you can write and draw better. I thought they might help. Sarah felt very happy and honored. Thank you, Amina. You are a true friend, she said, eyes shining. From that day, Sarah and Amina became best friends. They studied together at school and helped each other with homework. They dreamed about a future full of chances. One day, Ms. Miller entered the classroom with a big smile. Kids, I have exciting news, she said with great energy. The students listened closely, full of high hopes. There is a science contest in the city. The winner gets a scholarship for school, Ms. Miller explained, and excitement grew in the room. Sarah's eyes went wide and shone with joy. A scholarship, she thought. That could help my family and give me a better future. Ms. Miller continued. You must create a project on health or science. You have 2 weeks to prepare everything. At home, Sarah told her family, I want to join the contest. It is a chance for me. Her father smiled proudly and said, That is wonderful, Sarah. We fully support you. You can achieve anything if you work hard. Sarah worked very hard on her project. She chose a poster about clean water and why it is key for health. Amina helped her with energy. You can use my colorful paper and pens, Amina said generously. Thank you, Amina. You are the best, Sarah said with deep thanks. After 2 weeks of hard work, Sarah and Amina traveled to the city for the contest. Sarah saw many other students with their projects. She became nervous and wondered if she was truly good enough. But she also thought of all the support she had received. What if my project is not good enough? Sarah wondered. Amina held her hand and gave an encouraging smile. Don't worry, Sarah, you worked hard. Believe in yourself, she said. These words gave Sarah a little courage. When it was Sarah's turn, she stood before the judges. She explained her poster with great passion. She spoke about how clean water can save lives and why we must protect it. The judges smiled and nodded, which made her feel good. After a long wait, they announced the winner. The scholarship goes to Sarah. Sarah could not believe it. I won, she shouted with joy. Her family hugged her tight, and Amina clapped and cheered loudly. Sarah smiled with pure happiness. This is only the start of my dream, she thought, feeling hope bloom inside. After winning the scholarship, Sarah felt very happy. But she also felt something else. Hope. I can do this, she thought. I can become a doctor. With the scholarship, Sarah could now attend a better school in a nearby city. Her father said, Sarah, this school will help you learn more, but it is far from home. Are you ready? Sarah nodded with firm resolve. Yes, Dad. I will work hard and make you proud. The first day at the new school was exciting and a bit scary. Sarah saw many new students and felt unsure. Will they be kind to me? She asked herself. In class, the teacher asked everyone to introduce themselves. Sarah stood up and said, My name is Sarah. I love science and I want to be a doctor. Several students smiled kindly. A girl named Layla said, That is great. I love science too. Let's study together, Layla said. Sarah was happy about the invite. Thank you. I would love to learn with you, she said, joy filling her heart. At lunch, Sarah and Layla talked about their dreams and goals. I want to help sick people, Sarah said with a smile. Layla nodded with excitement. Me too. We can help each other. Sarah felt a new kind of joy inside. She found new friends and learned new things every day. In the evening, she wrote in her notebook, "This is a new chapter in my life. I will move step by step." The new school was exciting, but also hard. The classes were larger. The teachers gave more homework, and Sarah often had to struggle. One evening, she sat at her desk. The book was open, but her eyes were tired. "I am so tired," she thought. Her mother came into the room and looked at her with concern. "Sarah, you should rest," she said softly. Sarah shook her head and replied, "No, Mom, I must study. Tomorrow I have a test." Her mother smiled with pride. "I am proud of you, my daughter, but do not forget to sleep. Sleep is important for your brain." The next day, Sarah went to school. She handed in her work and hoped it was good. After class, Layla asked, "How was the test?" Sarah said, "It was hard, but I think it was okay." Layla smiled and said, "You always do well, don't worry." At the end of the week, Sarah got her test back. She had the best grade in the class and felt great. The teacher said, "Sarah, you work very hard. Keep it up." Sarah smiled happily. She thought, working hard is not easy, but it pays off. That night, Sarah promised herself, "No matter how hard it gets, I will never quit." She knew her dream was still far away, but she was ready for the journey. Sarah's hard work showed results, and she was proud of herself. But sometimes she felt lonely at the new school because many students came from rich families. They had nice clothes, new books, and even tutors. One day, Sarah sat alone in the library after class. She read her science book and thought about the big questions of life. A girl walked to her. It was Amina, her good friend, who had not forgotten her, even after moving. Amina smiled and sat next to Sarah. "I missed you," she said. "How is the new school?" Sarah smiled back and felt better at once. "It is exciting, but sometimes also hard," she replied. "I have a lot of homework and there is so much to learn." Amina nodded. "Come on, let's study together. It will be more fun." Sarah felt happy that she could spend time with her friend again. "Hi, Sarah," Amina said with a smile. "Do you want to study together?" Sarah looked up, surprised. "Really? You want to study with me?" "Yes," Amina answered kindly. "You are very smart. Maybe we can help each other." From that day, Sarah and Amina became study partners. They worked on math tasks and helped when one of them did not understand. They read texts and shared ideas. Amina also told Sarah about a scholarship program that helped many students. "If you apply, they can help you buy books and pay for school," Amina said. Sarah's eyes shone with excitement. "Really? That would be wonderful. I would love new books." With Amina's help, Sarah filled out the application. She worked hard on it and checked every detail. A few weeks later, a letter arrived. "Sarah, come here," her mother called excitedly. "You got mail." Sarah opened the letter slowly with shaking hands. She read the words, "Congratulations, you have received a scholarship." Tears filled her eyes with joy. "Mom, this means I can buy books. I can keep studying." Her mother hugged her tight and smiled proudly. "I am so proud of you, Sarah. You truly earned this." The next day, Sarah thanked Amina with a bright smile. "You are not just my friend. You are my helper and my role model." Amina laughed and replied, "We help each other, Sarah. That is what friends do. I am happy you got the scholarship." The scholarship brought new hope into Sarah's life. With the money, Sarah bought her first new books and proper school clothes. At school, she felt proud and more confident. Sarah studied harder than ever. She loved science the most. Her teacher, Ms. Miller, noticed this and was impressed by Sarah's progress. "Sarah," she said one day, "you are making great progress. Next month there is a science fair. Would you like to take part?" Sarah was nervous but also excited. "Do you think I can win?" she asked softly. Ms. Miller smiled encouragingly. "Winning is not the most important. Giving your best counts. If you work hard, you will succeed." Sarah nodded and began to prepare. Every evening she studied after her chores. Amina helped with practice questions and pushed her to keep going. Together they reviewed the topics and had much fun. The day of the fair came quickly. Sarah was one of the youngest participants. The room was big and full of students who looked very confident. When it was Sarah's turn, she stepped forward and took a deep breath. She answered questions about plants, animals, and the human body. Her hands shook a bit, but she remembered Ms. Miller's words. "Give your best." When the results were announced, Sarah could hardly believe it. She had won second place. The next day, the whole school clapped for her. Even the principal shook her hand and said, "Sarah, you are an example of hard work and persistence. Keep it up." Sarah felt incredibly proud, not only of herself, but also of her family, who had always supported her. She knew this was only the start of her journey. School was going well, and she looked forward to the next steps in her life and all the new adventures ahead. Sarah knew that with hard work and support, she could achieve anything. She had learned that friendship and teamwork make a big difference. She wanted to follow her dreams not only for herself, but also for her family and her friends. But at home life was hard. The family had little money, and that made things harder. One day, Amina spoke with her. "Sarah, I will leave school," she said sadly. Sarah was shocked and could not believe it. "Why? You love school. You are so smart. You have so much potential." Amina gave a gentle, sad smile. "I want you to live your dream. You can become a doctor. I will work and help the family so we can get by." The next day, Amina started work in a small store. She gave her pay to her parents to help the family. She even bought Sarah a new school bag, bright and colorful. Sarah felt sad about Amina's choice, but was also thankful. She wrote Amina a note. "Dear Amina, thank you for everything. I will study hard and make you proud. Love, Sarah." Amina smiled each time she read the note, and that made Sarah happy. Sarah studied even harder. She wanted to make her family proud and keep hope alive. The school announced a big test. It was very important. If Sarah did well, she could win a scholarship for high school. Ms. Miller said, "Sarah, I know you can do it. Study hard. I believe in you." Sarah studied every evening with strong resolve. She read by candlelight because the village had no power. Amina sat beside her and helped whenever she could. They reviewed key topics and wrote questions for each other. Test day came. Sarah was nervous. "What if I fail?" she thought, uneasy. Amina hugged her tight and said, "You are smart, Sarah. Believe in yourself. You worked hard, and it will pay off. I believe in you." Sarah entered the room feeling excited. She saw other nervous students and took a deep breath. She read each question carefully and stayed focused. She thought and wrote calmly. When she finished, she smiled with relief. She knew she had done her best. A week later, the results came. Ms. Miller called Sarah to the front. "Sarah, you got the highest score. You are one of the top students." Sarah could not believe it and ran home with joy. "Amina, I did it!" Amina was waiting and hugged her tight. "I knew it. You earned it, Sarah. You have worked so hard," she said. Now Sarah could attend high school. Her dream was one step closer. Sarah started high school in the nearby city. It was much bigger than her village school, and everything was new. Sarah felt excited but also nervous. She saw new faces and a large school full of life. There were many rooms and far more students than before. Sarah felt small and lost, but she knew she had to be strong. She wanted to become a doctor. She thought of the support from Amina and Ms. Miller and felt ready to go on. Many students had nice clothes and new bags. Sarah's clothes were old and worn, and she often felt uneasy. She had only one notebook, and it was almost empty. It was sad that she had no more. Some students laughed at her and whispered behind her back. But Sarah did not give up. She studied hard, every day and every night. The teachers saw this and praised her often. "Sarah, you are very smart," they said in kind voices. At lunch, she often sat alone under a tree. She missed Amina and her small village. It was quiet and lonely, and sometimes she felt sad and lost. But she remembered her dream. "I want to be a doctor," she whispered to herself, and that gave her strength. One day a girl sat next to her. "Hi, I'm Julia. What is your name?" she asked kindly, looking at Sarah. "I'm Sarah," she said shyly, staring at her plate. Julia smiled warmly. "Let's eat together. It is more fun," she said. Julia became Sarah's first friend at the new school. She helped her study and explained hard tasks that Sarah often found tough. Soon, Sarah found more friends. Everyone liked her because she was kind and smart. Sarah felt happy and relieved. "I am not alone anymore," she thought and smiled. In class, they got a project. They had to build a model of the human body. Sarah had no money for materials and felt frustrated. But Julia and her friends helped her. They used old boxes and paper they found at home. Together they built a nice model. The teacher looked at it and said, "Sarah, this is the best project. Very well done." Sarah smiled with pride. She loved science, and her excitement grew even more. Now she knew more than ever. She wanted to be a doctor. One weekend, Sarah returned to the village. She hugged Amina, her best friend who always supported her. "I missed you," Sarah said with a smile. Amina gave her a small bag. "I saved some money. Buy new books," she said with joy. Tears of thanks filled Sarah's eyes. "Thank you, Amina. You are the best friend I could wish for." With the new books, Sarah studied even better and felt happy to have such a sister in spirit. At the end of school, Sarah heard about a big scholarship for college. It was for the top student of the school. Sarah wanted to win it to make her family proud. She knew she had to work very hard. She studied day and night, reviewed everything, and prepared with care. After the exams, the principal called her to his office. "Sarah, you got the scholarship," he said with a broad smile. Sarah could not believe it. "I did it!" she shouted with joy and ran to call Amina. "I'm going to college. I can't wait." College was hard. Sarah had to study many hours and read a lot. She also worked in the library to earn money and cover her costs. Her professors were kind and helped her when they could. "Sarah, you have a bright future," they said encouragingly. Sarah met other students who also wanted to become doctors. They helped each other and pushed on when things got tough. Slowly, her dream became real. After many years, Sarah proudly finished her studies. She became a doctor, and when she returned to her village, everyone cheered. Amina hugged her tight and said, "I'm so proud of you, Sarah. You made your dream come true." Sarah smiled with joy. She opened a small clinic in the village and helped sick people. Everyone called her Dr. Sarah. She told Amina, "We did it. Our dreams came true. We believed. Now we can help others." Thank you for following Sarah's story to the end. It means a lot to me that you are here and shared this journey. Sarah worked very hard for her dreams, and I hope her drive and courage inspired you. Each of us has goals and dreams we want to reach, big or small. What are your dreams? What do you want to achieve in life? I would love to hear more about your goals. Please share your thoughts and dreams in the comments, and let's talk about them. It is important that we support and encourage each other. If you have questions or want more stories, tell me. I always enjoy your feedback and ideas. If you liked the story, remember to subscribe so you never miss new stories. Together we can grow and make our dreams come true. Every story I write is for you, and I hope they bring joy and inspiration to your life. Thank you again for watching. I look forward to your comments and to sharing more exciting stories with you.